I'm Rick Harp. This is your APTN News Brief for Wednesday, March 6th. The Cat Lake First Nation is in a state of crisis after fire destroyed its only nursing station Saturday night. And Chief Russell Wesley has declared a local state of emergency for the remote Northern Ontario First Nation. Residents with specific medical needs like cancer and diabetes have been evacuated. Anishinaabe Police Service have confirmed a fire broke out at the Margaret Gray Nursing Station. They say an investigation is ongoing. Indigenous Services Minister Patty Haidu said on social media her government will be at the community's side during this difficult moment, so they have everything they need. A one-time Whitehorse hotel is getting a facelift with dozens of housing units part of the package. Owned by the nonprofit Safe at Home Society, the former High Country Inn building will be permanently converted into a 67-unit supportive housing project called The Hearth. Currently operating as a temporary housing project for 28 residents, the building will get up to $12.9 million for its renovation from the Yukon government. Once built, 75% of all units at The Hearth will be allocated to Indigenous people. Society Executive Director Kate Meechan says the project is a win for people experiencing long-term homelessness.
80% of those who are experiencing homelessness are chronically homeless, so means they've been homeless for a really, really long time. It's enduring, in and out of shelters, in and out of transitional housing and different sort of treatment, hospital, correctional centers. So this is going to provide some stability in the downtown core, and we're pretty excited about that.
Still in the north, the federal government has signed a pair of health care-related agreements with the Nunavut government worth a combined $35 million. Announced as part of the health minister's first visit to the territory, the first agreement will contribute $25 million towards the recruitment and training of Inuit primary care workers. It will also expand recruitment of Inuit working in specialized mental health and addiction services. The second agreement puts $12 million towards improvements in elder care over the next 5 years. Federal Minister Mark Holland.
Today we're also signing a second agreement, which is an Aging with Dignity agreement that will see more than $12 million go to Nunavut over the next 5 years. This is funding that is really going to help people age close to home. I was so proud that we were able, John, to see the federal investment in the long-term care facility here. I believe it's $25 million that the federal government placed forward to help folks. And we know that, like I was saying earlier, when people have made a contribution over their whole life to their communities, they should have the opportunity to age and spend their whole lives in their communities.
And finally, to Montreal, where Kahnawake-born violinist took center stage at a North American premiere last week. Part of the violin concerto Phoenix by Quebec composer Louis Babin, Tara Louise Montour was selected as its soloist. With more from this one-night-only event, Maricela Amador.
I initiate the bird call. Little by little, musician by musician, they take up that bird call.
For Mohawk violinist Tara Louise Montour, it was an honor to perform the solo in Phoenix, a violin concerto presented by the Classical Orchestra of Montreal, but it came with a major challenge. The concerto had only been performed once in France back in 2015, and it had never been recorded.
When I got the score, I was working from scratch and just having to figure out the whole thing. And definitely it's a process. Like, it's a slow, rather steep learning curve to make my way through the music.
However, she said that being able to discuss things through with composer Louis Babin made the difficult process easier.
We had our first rehearsal a couple of days ago with the orchestra, and it was the first time that I'd heard it all together. So that was an amazing experience because a lot made sense all of a sudden. And there were a few surprises, too.
The story of Phoenix is one of death and rebirth. And Babin believes most people would be able to relate to it.
I've had a lot of changes of direction in my life, and I think that affects a lot of people. Not everyone will get cancer, but a lot of people will have to change jobs or location. So for me, that's what Phoenix represents.
vont changer de lieu, qui vont changer de milieu de vie, etc. Alors pour moi, c'est ce que ça représente Phoenix.
The composer added that he was very grateful that the Classical Orchestra of Montreal agreed to present the concert as part of its programming, even though a recording wasn't available. Taras Kulish, the Director General of the Classical Orchestra of Montreal, said that the story and music complement each other and really draw people in.
Ça fait partie de notre mission.
It's part of our mission to present Indigenous artists, composers, and authors at least once a year. This year, we've chosen Tara Louise.
Many of Montour's community members from Kahnawake attended the concert.
I'm very happy to have the support from the community because yes, it has been a long road of concerts leading up to this type of event, and it warms my heart.
Maricela Amador, APTN National News, Montreal.
And that's your APTN News Brief for Wednesday, March 6th. I'm Rick Harp.